On a November evening, a cool breeze was blowing in Tonopah, Nevada, up in the high desert where the warmth of the Mizpah Hotel was just within reach. I traveled far from the warmth of Calico ghost town to pursue a rumor that a young prospector called Slim was just seen in these parts. You see, I must find him. The Mizpah. It's got something for everyone. It's historic. There's booze. The food's good. You can do a bit of gambling and wake up to a good cup of coffee right outside your room. The Mizpah is named after one of the original best-producing mines in Tonopah, located on the property directly behind the hotel. The hotel, as one sees it today, was predated by the Mizpah Saloon and Grill, a one-story building where some say Wyatt Earp tended the bar and boxing legend Jack Dempsey worked as a bouncer. Construction of what folks now recognize as the five-story hotel began in 1907, and the Mizpah opened its doors on November 17th of 1908. Did you know the Mizpah and the Belle Hotel shared the title of the tallest building in Nevada until 1927? The Mizpah also houses one of the oldest electric elevators west of the Mississippi River. Here I am in one of the oldest operating elevators in the state of Nevada. Did you know Seldom Seen Slim, elevator operator? And for you paranormal enthusiasts, the Mizpah is cited by many as one of the most haunted places in Nevada, with the star of the show being the eerie Lady in Red. Right. I'm up here on one of the most haunted floors of the Mizpah, but this is not Ghost Adventures. In our last episode, we explained that in his book, Tom Murray placed young Slim in Tonopah in its earliest days, likely in the days that predated most permanent structures like the Mizpah Hotel. If we play along with Murray, Slim left Tonopah when he heard of another strike in a nearby town named Grandpa, which was later renamed Goldfield. That discovery occurred in 1902. This means Slim likely left before all the investors swooped in and started constructing buildings like the Mizpah. If we trust in Murray's account, the Tonopah of Slim's time was likely a mix of mining tents and the town's early, highly flammable wooden structures. I'm looking for something that probably would be more recognizable to Slim during the time when he was probably here. So what I came looking for is this tent. Because I believe if Slim was here during that time frame, this would be more around the type of accommodations he probably would have experienced staying here, not like the luxurious Mizpah Hotel, which I don't even think would have been here during that time. So this here is an old miner's tent. Actually, it's a little bit more luxurious than I would have imagined. A lot more spacious. Now, I did hear stories down in Rhyolite. A lot of the miners that would show up in the early days would come and rent one of these, and usually there'd be a couple beds, and you wouldn't really know who your roommate was going to be. You just paid and grabbed a small bed, and that was your little area of the world. But, it's like a canvas material like you would expect. I'm not sure if this is even an original tent. I'm doubtful that it would last that long throughout time. Some of these other things in here certainly look like they come from the time. These carbide lamps that are up here on the wall, this is how miners would see in the mine. But yeah, quite spacious. And I'm gonna guess exactly the sort of thing that Slim probably did. Maybe he didn't even stay in that. Maybe he just stayed out under the open sky, I'm not sure. On May 19th of 1900, prospector Jim Butler made camp near springs the local Indians called Tonopah. According to legend, overnight, one of Butler's mules wandered off, and when Butler found it, he picked up a rock to throw at the stubborn animal, and then he noticed it was heavier than expected, hinting at the possibility of rich ore. Other accounts are not quite as dramatic, and while the truth may be lost to time, one thing is undeniable. Tonopah would be home to some of the American West's richest silver mines. In its first year, Tonopah was just a small mining camp named Butler. It was a collection of tents and makeshift wooden houses. It was in this first year that Jim Butler decided to lease out claims to other miners, allowing them to profit while he would collect a 25% royalty. If we believe the time frame suggested in Murray's book, it's entertaining to think that young Slim may have been one of these early miners, known as the Leasers. Today, visitors of Tonopah can explore the historic mining park and see the workings started by Tonopah's earliest miner residents. Surrounding me is a minefield of old mines and stopes. Lots of fencing to protect you. Evidence of the past is all around here. Head frames, you got it all. You could see the town of Tonopah right down below. But this is where it all started. In one of the mines, the Mizpah Mine, named by Mrs. Butler. And it has a steel head frame, but don't let that fool you. That's an old head frame, I think over 100 years old. You know, now I'm really starting to wonder. It's very possible that Slim was here in 1902 still. Even if the news of that strike in nearby Grandpa did happen, I'm not sure if he just up and left immediately, but it's just really interesting to think that he may have seen these same sites. Let's go check this hoist house out and see what this is all about, actually. Wow. So these hoist houses and head frames were used to basically pull up ore from the depths where they're mining, and also to lower miners down into the mines via cages. And these rooms are always creepy because you always hear the wind blowing and the metal creaking and stuff, and you're always like, whoa, is there something in here? And when you're all alone, pretty cool. Already we're starting to see evidence of mining. Look at these deep stopes here. These things, I hear, go down hundreds of feet. And this, I believe, was where the early miners started. I don't know if they got all the way down, but you could see the old timbers that they put to support that. I think I read that the original miners may have dug down about 100 feet, but later companies may have continued down as far as 500 feet. So here's what I've been talking about when I'm talking about the leasers. So Jim and Belle Butler were the ones that discovered this mine, and he decided to lease claims to actual miners so they could work and profit, and I think all he asked for was a 25% royalty. There you go. I know my stuff, I think. And here are the leasers in 1901. So if this were higher res and easier to see, this is precisely what I think life was like in the time of Seldom Seen Slim passing through here, based on my dating here. One of these guys could be a young Slim. Very, very possibly. I'd love to get my hand on old photos and see if I could find him anywhere. And I was correct earlier when I stated the original leasers, the miners, this is what they did. So this is exactly where someone like Slim could have been prospecting and working claims. And it did say, you could see that goes down really far. I'm not even sure I can see the bottom in all places, or if you can, the lighting's not great. But see those timbers in there? I don't know if you can. This here is very likely where Slim could have been picking out silver. And if you don't like heights, I don't know if you'd like this park. It's gonna be really hard to get my camera there, and there's a better thing we're gonna go see in a minute, but let's check this side out. See those timbers down there? It's like that's not too far down, but then you see deeper pits going in there. So once again, the leasers only dug to about 100 feet in depth. Now I don't know distance very well. Not sure if that's about 100 feet or not. Maybe it's deeper, but whatever it is, it's deep and dangerous looking. All right, so now we get to go into something called the Burrow Tunnel. And it's like, I guess the tunnel itself, I think, is supposed to replicate what a mine looks like, but at the end of it, there's a steel cage, and you get to peer down into the depths of one of these stopes. I wonder when they put up all this fencing, because I mean, if you weren't paying attention and just walking around, come upon one of these pits and it's sayonara. It's kind of scary actually, and cool. All right, where is this burrow tunnel? If you don't like heights, this one you don't like. I can't even see the bottom. That is a bottomless pit right underneath my feet. I sure hope this thing holds and these pieces of lumber and things don't collapse, but look in there. So Seldom Seen Slim, did you work in here? Pigeon over there, have you seen Slim? Whoa, mama. This is amazing, really getting this look here and standing over this, for real, bottomless pit. That is deep. All right, let's see if any miners or any spirits, maybe even old Seldom Seen Slim himself, see if anybody has anything to say. Howdy down there. Hello? Has anybody seen Seldom Seen Slim? All right, I'm calling out once again. You hear that? Oh. Maybe that was a pigeon telling me that he knows Slim. Has anybody here seen Seldom Seen Slim? Slim, are you down there? Well, I know he's not down there because he's buried in Ballarat, California, which we'll be visiting on this video, but... Okay, so one more experiment. I like to always drop rocks down into mines. I didn't see any signs saying don't do it. I've seen other people do it. So I'm not trying to recommend this is the right thing to do, but... So I'm gonna just drop one of these guys through this grate here straight on down. And let's listen. You guys ready? I heard it. You kind of hear the rock hit and then go down further. Hey, bird. Have you heard of Seldom Seen Slim? Do you know how deep this mine goes? Do you think I'm crazy? Because I am. All right, let's try this again here. All right, that was fun. Not sure if you guys could hear it, but it goes down far. I really wanted to stop here, you know, more to just see what Slim would have seen, but also just to get a quick taste of what life would have been like. And after seeing that, that is not for me. I don't think I would have had what it takes to work in a mine like that. I commend the men and women who have done that. All right, pre-dawn Tonopah. Beautiful. Smell of like wood burning fires in the air on a nice cool November morning. Doesn't get better than that. So Murray mentions in his book very early on that Slim did not like to talk about himself, and hence why it's so difficult to find information about the guy. If you asked him anything about his life, Murray claims that his typical answer would be, "It ain't nobody's damn business." Slim, I get that. It ain't nobody's damn business, but I want to know more about you, and you're not making this easier on me. This plaque and these statues commemorate Jim and Belle Butler, the original prospectors that found the riches here in the hills not too far away. Belle and Jim, did you guys ever know Slim? Was he one of your leaser miners that I heard about? Wow, They ain't saying a word. Okay, well the Butlers didn't know him, didn't see him, which doesn't really surprise me. But we're heading down to the other folks that I think may have run into Slim at one point at least. So let's go see if we can find out more. So, no, I'm sorry to disappoint. Today's video is not about the Clown Hotel, but the folks that I want to have a word with are right next door. But what a better way to start a morning than hanging out at a creepy hotel that's reported to be haunted with weird clown ghosts next to a haunted Pioneer Graveyard. The Tonopah Cemetery on a very drizzly morning. Once again, wasn't supposed to rain at all. But I figured there might be some folks here who can help answer some questions. This graveyard, I think its first resident was buried here around 1901, well over 100 years ago. And there's a good chance, even if someone was buried here after that, that they may have known Slim. Certainly one of you folks knew him. So residents of the historic Tonopah Cemetery, did any of you guys know Seldom Seen Slim? Wow. You folks here in Tonopah are a tight-lipped group. But in all seriousness, it's highly possible that somebody laid to rest here, at the very least, would have crossed paths and set eyes on Slim, if not hung out with him in a saloon, a brothel, maybe a mining tent, I don't know. But you should be able to tell, based on all the wooden headstones, that this is a very old cemetery. Tonopah, the queen of the silver camps, a vessel of olden times. Seldom seen Slim, I missed you, but I'll find you down the line.